Well, now it's time to move on to the Gilded Party panel. None more golden than Katherine Timpf, National Review online reporter and correspondent for The Greg Gutfeld Show. Tonight we've also got Anthony Fischer from Reason.com, an associate editor there, a fine writer, and a sharp-dressed man named Tom Shillue, the host of Red Eye on the Fox News Channel. All right, for all the folks out there who don't like that Donald Trump, and Michael Moore stands with you. He was one of the few people who actually predicted a Trump victory. Although he hated the idea of it, he now has an attack plan, and it's deliciously lame, lazy, and predictable. In a post on his Facebook page, the Academy Award winner suggests the following: warn politicians they will be held accountable. That's groundbreaking. Right to the DNC. Form an anti-Trump rapid response team. Protest the inauguration and run for office yourself. The president-elect must be quaking in his Armani boots. All right, so I thought it was pretty funny, Kat, because Michael Moore also wrote, A, all hope is not lost. B, there are more of us than there are of them. But for progressives who hate Donald Trump, all hope is kind of lost, isn't it?
It is lost. He's going to be the president, and he's going to have the powers that the president has, and it's really strange that people are hoping that he does a bad job just to prove themselves right. I hope he does a good job. I was not a Trump supporter. I don't have faith that he will necessarily do a good job, but I've never, as a libertarian, had that faith in any president.
Exactly right.
So it's really not any different for me, but you can't be rooting against the guy, and it's just, you look sad. Yeah. You look sad. It's like, you know, if you like someone and then but they get married, you're like, well, there's always divorce. And it's like, no, but that might be true, but it's time to move on with your life.
It is time to, but what lazy talking points? You know, this was a group of people who first had faith in Jill Stein's recount, and then they relied on the Hamilton electors.
Yes.
And now they've got someone telling them to form their own rapid response teams. What does that mean?
Rapid response teams have always been tremendously effective political tools in this country. Remember? I mean, and it's, listen, just there's something to be said for the fact that because Bernie Sanders' likability rating was so much higher than Hillary Clinton's, he might have beaten Trump. But that doesn't mean that America was ready for 270 Democratic socialists in Congress. It doesn't mean that we're ready to go full Michael Moore just because Trump and Hillary Clinton were the most unpopular major party candidates in history.
Yeah, but there it is. The deal is sealed. And I've been saying the same thing. I do agree with Michael Moore that if you have a political movement and you're trying to get traction, going out and protesting, it's a fine first step. But it fizzles out after a few days or a few weeks, so you really should run people for office. I don't think progressives have done that as effectively.
No, and I think what he is going to do isn't going to help the Democratic Party or the American left. He's going to get the Bernie Sanders wing of the party elected to many offices. That's not going to help them, but it's going to make them feel happy because, you know, they're the far left of the party. They're the progressives. So, you know, that's what he wants. I don't think Michael Moore is that into. He loves being an activist. Yeah. So he wants he and his friends and people who think like him to have more political power. I don't think it's going to translate into a majority, but for them, it doesn't really matter.
I don't even think they don't want the majority.
I don't even think they're going to win all that many elections because they oppose. They don't like campaign spending, and free campaign spending is how Bernie Sanders was able to make such a run at Hillary Clinton.
That's interesting.
It's the the campaign finance laws that keep incumbents in office, which they like.
I think one of the best phrases I heard post-election was Joe Biden, who summed it up by saying, "You can't eat equality." And you're not going to get enough people on board if it's not going to improve their lives. If the big sell is, hey, we're going to pay for everyone's health care and college, people go, hey, you know what, my health care and college is already too expensive.
And none of this will actually affect Michael Moore, so it's easy for him to just, have his ideological purity and be above all of it as he sits in his fancy life.
And if anyone can find a way to eat equality, it's Michael Moore.
Yeah, that's true.
Rapidly.
We had a double serving today. Meantime, in New York City, Mayor Bill de Blasio's administration also picking a fight with the president-elect. This time, it's over yesterday's bomb scare at Trump Tower. You may recall people were running for the doors and their lives. Cops had to evacuate the entire place after somebody left a bag of toys in the lobby. Trump's soon-to-be press secretary then tweeted, this is Sean Spicer saying, "Back to work here at Trump Tower after a false alarm. Thanks, NYPD." To which de Blasio's spokesman Eric Phillips replied, "No problem. We'll send you the bill." Come on, Eric Phillips. Do we really need that right now? It's Christmas, Tom.
Well, I mean, was Eric the first one to be sarcastic, or was that thanks NYPD? Was that a little dig too? I couldn't really figure it out. Was he really
Thanks
saying?
and what? Like saying it like thanks Obama.
Thanks.
Yeah, back to work.
Yeah.
Internet tone is tough.
Yeah, it's very tough in text or tweet to get your emotional intonation across.
I mean, this is not the first time a president has come from Manhattan. FDR and Teddy Roosevelt did. You know, Hillary Clinton is nominally from Chappaqua, New York. You know, there would have been, you know, security measures up there. But quite frankly, Trump wanted this job.
I think Bill Clinton came in Manhattan a lot.
DC.
But keep it off Twitter. On both of them, they got to keep it off Twitter.
Okay.
It's just like if a mother's having a problem with her baby daddy and she'll tag him in a Facebook post with all these curse words about child support. There may be these problems, but you know, it's not classy and it's not good for the kids.
And you don't necessarily have to advertise it, but you know, to de Blasio's point, it is expensive.
It is.
It is. It costs a lot of money.
If the
every
Obamas
month.
were doing this to taxpayers so they could sit on their gold throne chairs, conservatives would be mad.
Yeah.
What's up with Trump Tower? It's like a mall and his home and like a high security area. It's just not. It's not functioning well right now.
No, I avoid Fifth Avenue.
Absolutely.
Where I used to lunch and shop there thrice weekly, Tom. Oh.
There is literally Secret Service for pedestrians right outside of Tiffany's on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah.
So they need to update that movie.
They do it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so true.
Secret Service pat downs at
Breakfast.
Tiffany's. Yes.
This is going to sound really naive. I didn't realize that the Katherine Hepburn, Holly Golightly, was a prostitute.
Audrey Hepburn.
That's what I meant. What did I say?
Well, yeah,
Katherine Hepburn.
Katherine Hepburn, but what she, no, but
I didn't realize Katherine Hepburn was a prostitute and on Golden Pond, which makes it kind of.
It's fun to rewatch any movie and imagine that the lead character is a prostitute.
The Loons, Norman, they gave me 4.
Willy Wonka, the Chocolate Factory.
Tom, Anthony, and Kat, the party panel, returning a little bit later to discuss why actor Nicolas Cage could pass up the chance to portray an iconic Republican president, the role of a lifetime. But first up, Secretary of State John Kerry adding to a growing showdown with the incoming Trump administration over Israel. I'm going to ask Ambassador John Bolton who has the stronger hand. I wonder what he'll say. He's next. Ronald Reagan could be making a giant comeback to life, but not as a zombie. No, in a Hollywood biopic. So who could possibly play the Gipper on the silver screen? The New York Post is reporting that Nicolas Cage, he has been offered the role. The resemblance is uncanny. The actor's publicist has declined to comment on whether the leaving Las Vegas Academy Award-winning actor will in fact take the part, but the paper claims that Cage is hesitant to play Reagan if the film portrays him in a flattering light. So would it be a good move for Hollywood's weirdest actor, or will it make him an outcast in the heavily liberal West Coast scene? The party panel is back. Katherine Timpf, Anthony Fischer, and Tom Shillue. Tom, I will start with you, Shillue. I think this is a brilliant PR move to see what Nicolas Cage is doing and correct the record if I'm wrong here. He's saying, oh, I can't possibly play someone that I abhor, especially if it's flattering. And then conservatives get really mad and say, how could you possibly have an unflattering movie about Ronald Reagan? He's the greatest of all time. So they're going to see it to get mad at Nicolas Cage, and then he really will do a flattering performance that turns out to be something that he hated, therefore he's going to get an Academy Award.
that's a lot of thinking for Nicolas Cage.
That's all I can do. I think about him constantly.
I wouldn't put it past him, but I think he's setting it up for. So I mean, inevitably, his career is. I mean, people don't like him anyway. So his career, I think it was a national treasure. We can blame that, maybe. When did we get sick of Nicolas Cage? Ghost Rider, that's it. There are plenty of reasons.
Not Con Air?
Yeah.
I can even go Snake Eyes.
You could take any Nicolas Cage film, yes, Snake Eyes. But I think what he's saying is at some point he's going to be able to blame it on the Reagan pick.
Yeah.
5 years down the line when no one will hire him, he'll say, oh, it was the Reagan picture, but it really wasn't.
Oh, was it the IRS?
I
He could have been the Wesley Snipes of our generation, and he threw off that crown.
Yeah, I mean, here's another thing too. This could be one of the most brilliant rope-a-dopes in Hollywood history. The way Titanic, everybody before Titanic came out, everyone's like, this is unbelievable. This is going to be.
They thought it was going to be Ishtar.
James Cameron was never going to work again. Now, Nicolas Cage is an Academy Award winner. We've seen him actually do good work. It's been a while, but we've seen him do good work. This could all be just a big bait and switch for him to do some really measured, and interesting work as Reagan.
I would love to see it, regardless how you feel about Ronald Reagan. I think it's time we start immortalizing him on celluloid. Kat Timpf?
It's in Ronald Reagan movies. It's a great untapped market.
That's right.
A lot of, you look around, a lot of people really into Ronald Reagan. All kinds of, TV shows, biopic. There should be a lot more Reagan. And yeah, has Nicolas Cage ever said no to another movie ever? It's like him and Mario Lopez, just no matter what it is, they don't say no.
They actually have a buddy cop movie coming out just in time for spring break. Hey, speaking of sex, those two, dripping with it. Did you get a sex robot for Christmas? No? Huh, me neither. Another year in a row. Batting zeros. Regardless, the second annual Love and Sex with Robots conference just took place in London. And one of the biggest questions this year was a doozy. Will sex robots get the same rights as humans? For instance, if a sex robot isn't feeling sexy, can it turn down its human owner? No, just the same way my blender can't turn down making me a smoothie. I think sex robots are just fine. I don't have a problem with it in theory or in practice. There weren't actually sex robots at this symposium, so the whole thing is dubious.
Well, you want to not have a problem with it because it's kind of like, well, let people do what they want, right?
Yeah.
But when you really think about it, obviously it's a bad thing. People should not be having sex with robots. They should be having sex with people.
Sure.
And really, this is
So
too much.
judgmental.
It's too much of a draw for guys because guys want to have, easy, commitmentless sex, and so as robots get more and more realistic, they can do it with them. They're not going to be reproducing, having children. They should be doing that. It's bad.
I mean, women have robot kind of items as well.
I was going to say, there already are robots, sex robots, just not the whole person.
Women they still want to have a man in their life. They don't want to go retire with a piece of equipment. Guys do.
Maybe a sex robot would snuggle for as long as you want. If you have relations with a sex robot, Anthony Fisher, as a married person, well, I know you're still a virgin, and that's a very personal thing that you've just talked about. Quite brave of you. Is it cheating?
Is it cheating? I mean, that's the thing, is there's so much morality around sex as it is, and I think people are just looking for a new thing to get obsessed about.
Very interesting.
Because like lonely people, a lot of them go to prostitutes, which is still criminalized in much of the free world.
And filthy microbes all over those man whores,
to have something like robots, to have people saying, no, robots, this is immoral, keep it with people, maybe that'll make prostitution more socially acceptable.
Oh, perhaps. Or maybe prostitutes will go find other things to do.
Like what?
As not prostituting.
That's the oldest provision.
I don't know. I would never have sex with a robot.
Why?
Because I would probably get feelings for the robot.
Oh, that's okay, though. The robot's never going to leave. The robot's never going to send you a creepy text in the middle of the night shaming you for past people you've dated.
A past experience. Yeah, that's a good thing. But you know what? It's like it's very possible human to human to also catch feelings for a human who's not capable of emotions either.
Yeah.
But at least you know what you're buying with the sex robot. And when it gives you the cold shoulder, you can just put them in the closet.
They can't ghost you.
No, they. A sex robot can't ghost you. Problem solved, humanity saved. Party panel, thank you so much. Tom Shillue, fantastic work. Anthony Fisher, Kat Timpf. What a great evening to be an evening. Coming up, cops in a murder case say an Amazon Echo device could hold clues to a crime. But would accessing it cross the line between privacy and security? Rather, the details are next.